Yeah, I think the big thing that I've realized working in inner city is that when I worked with other kids outside of the inner city the last like 20 years, I had to convince the middle class to upper class kids really that darkness was real.
Yeah.
And I feel like working in the inner city, it's like you have to convince them that light is real because darkness is so present.
Wow.
And I think that that's like the biggest in the season. There's just such a burden for me that I want to see kids rise up out of the darkness.
Yeah.
And show that the light is greater.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think that's the biggest thing that's been on my heart lately.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's been on my mind. But
yeah. No, that's good, because what ends up happening, you know, we were just talking off camera about it, and I'm seeing it too. Like these kids end up turning into adults one day, still dealing with these demons and still dealing with situations that they grew up in that they never escaped internally. So physically they may be somewhere different, but internally they're in the exact same place. So then when trouble and issues come their way, they only know one way to fight those things.
right.
And oftentimes it is not healthy.
Yeah.
So now you got a man, you know, and I work with guys that are, you know, mid-20s, 30s, 40s. Like, you got these grown men, careers, some of them married, some of them kids, and you can see that they are dealing with things that they never knew how to deal with healthily, because they were never taught or told who they were.
Right.
And so when there's falsely placed identity, it always rears its ugly head when issues come up. And I was telling guys just yesterday, actually, like, one thing that is true about this life is that you will never escape trouble. That is something that is here for all of us. It doesn't matter who you are, what color you are, what your socioeconomic status is, what position you hold at work, the amount of money in your bank account, does not matter. Trouble will find you. You live long enough, trouble will find you. And what I am seeing is, when trouble finds some of us, myself included, if we're not rooted in the right things, we don't know how to, we fight with the wrong weapons because we've never been taught. And so going back to what you're talking about and the burden that you're feeling, it's like, how do we eradicate this? It's like, okay, we need to do the work now with these older men who can't go back to their teenage years and deal with it then. Like, you're already past that. But it's like, how do we prevent it moving forward? It's like, get them when they're younger, as you're doing the work that you and TDC are doing. And now I know that you're working towards potentially doing some stuff with some young adults. It's like, we got to get them as early as we possibly can and remind them, not even just remind them, like, share with them who the Lord has called them to be, and extract and eradicate the lies that actually govern the belief system of these guys that tell them they are something that they are not, and they believe it.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of what you're seeing, bro.
Yeah. Well, age doesn't grow us up.
No.
Like what we've always talked about is, like, there's still a little kid in us that is yet to grow up. When we experience trauma or experience lies, the moment we believe the lie is the moment that we stunt the growth to move forward until we change that lie. So whatever age we are, doesn't matter if you've never dealt with the lie when you were 10, when you were 7, when you were 5. Whatever exchange happened when you replaced that truth of who you were with that lie is still the little kid sitting back here going, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
I'm stuck. And until we deal with that, you will continue to be a guy or a woman to pursue, to perform, to prove that you're not that one. And once you do the work, once we hit the root of what that was producing and keeping you back here, and then Jesus replaces it with his truth, shows you who you are, then you begin to grow up to the age that you currently are. And he does that. That's the supernatural work of what Jesus does, is he can take what we think is we're behind, we're too far gone, we've already missed out, we're not good enough, all those things, and Jesus has a way of going, let me speed you up. Right? This is the denarii. I'm going to pay some guys in the very beginning of the morning the same as I'm going to pay the guys that show up at the last hour.
Yeah.
They're going to get the same pay wherever you end up on this, on coming into the story. When you come into the story with Jesus, he brings you to the place. Now, again, salvation happens in an instant. We've been talking about sanctification is the process.
That's right.
Renewing of the mind to come into who he has already said that you are.
Yeah.
There's a renewal process, and then obviously glorification's the full product of who we were meant to be before the fall on the other side of heaven. And so that is the process for all of us, but I wasn't told that.
Yeah.
So I gave my life to Jesus, raised my hand. The old's gone, the new's come. Thank God. And then I went home, and 3 weeks later, that old came back.
Yeah.
Am I not saved? Do I not know Jesus? What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Because I never knew that there was a process.
Yeah.
And that process actually only comes in community, which is what you've learned, what you're learning with your guys, is that, yes, if we confess to God, we find salvation. But when we confess to one another, it says we find healing.
Yeah.
None of it was meant to be done in a vacuum. I'm not the man at the top that gets there by myself. I'm not the one that did this on my own, that there has someone been with me this whole entire time, and his name is God. And just because I've ignored him doesn't mean he wasn't there.
That's right.
But alongside that, I need other people to speak into my life and help me see what I can't see sometimes.
That's right.
And that's what you're doing. But it's not just what you're doing with a Bible study on Monday night. It's what you've been doing in your own life.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm going to stay in this uncomfortable thing and not run and try to perform my way out of it. I'm going to stay here until God says move. I'm going to step when he says step. I'm going to stop when he says stop. And I'm not going anywhere until he says so.
It's good.
And what happens? Your life becomes crucified to that message. You're not using that message to validate you. You are the message because of the work that Jesus has done in you. That's why Jesus said, I must be crucified first before all men can be drawn to me.
Yeah.
Jesus said, I must feel what you felt, go through what you go through, so that when I say I know you and I get you and I know what your life is like, I had to feel it, experience it, live it, so that now I become it. And that's the process that's happening for you, is you become something. You're not trying to be something anymore.
That's right.
So
right.
I think that's a big thing.
Yeah, that's so good. And I want to ask you a question. And so for context, like if you feel like you are stuck, you are not where you expect it to be, your life doesn't look like you want it to look, this is for you, because I'm thinking about these people right now, because I'm working with some of them. Like, we're talking about the lies that we believe and stuff like that. Like, how do we know when we're operating out of a lie? Like, how do we know that I'm actually believing a lie? Because I could see somebody watching this and being like, yeah, that sounds good and all that stuff, but like, maybe they haven't hit rock bottom. Maybe they haven't experienced a situation where like they're aware that they're living out of a lie. They're living out of a false identity. And so like, to that person, like, what would you say? Like, how do you know? How do we know?
There's two things. I think when you're living from a lie, or you're living from something that's not your true identity, the question you got to ask yourself is, what I'm living from, is it working? And sometimes it is for a while.
It works
so if
for me.
it's working, then keep going. But there's a moment when it starts to break down. And when it starts to break down, you've got to ask yourself, what am I putting my identity in that can't be stolen from me? Because that's the answer. If you can put your identity in something that can't be stolen from you, you found the truth. everything else can be taken from us. So a man that has his identity in something that can't be stolen from them is an unstoppable man that regardless of the room they walk in, regardless of what happens today, regardless of the good paycheck, the no paycheck, the I did bad today, they're unmovable and they're the most powerful person in the room because they know that their identity, they're living from something instead of trying to get something, right?
Yep.
And so that's the answer is what am I putting my identity in that can't be stolen from me?
Yeah.
And then you're going to feel like there's always these little things like fear, obviously, is, I think, the biggest thing. There's either fear or peace. Do I have peace? If I don't make the decision. I don't move until I have peace. It doesn't mean that fear's not in the room.
Yep.
I may do it afraid, but I have peace before I make the move.
Yeah.
Jesus said, I only do what I see, what I hear my Father doing, and I move with compassion.
Yeah.
Those are the three ways that he navigated his life. And he said, Father, make them one as we are one in John 17, saying that they can be like me. They can do what I do. Mm-hmm. But that's bigger than turning water into wine. Mm-hmm. That's bigger than doing miracles, casting out demons, is when you go, I only do what I see and what I hear my Father doing, and I'm moved with compassion. Mm-hmm. That's more powerful to the world than any of that other stuff.
Right.
When that's all I do, you can't move me.
Yeah.
Hey, fear, you can't move me. Hey, I'm not moving here until I know where peace is. And peace is a person. His name's Jesus. He's in the room.
Yeah.
He's here. There's two options. And so I think that's something. I don't know if I answered all that, if there's more to that question, great. But I think that's how I navigate in my own life. And the big question I always ask when I'm feeling some of this like coming in on me, like a lot of times I feel like the walls are caving in. Like moments when I've experienced anxiety, it's like the walls are caving in, and it's like this fear that I have about this stuff that's not really there.
Right.
And it's hard to even explain because it doesn't make sense to you. You can't explain it to anyone else. And so it's like, oh, hold on, stop. And the question I've been asking God is, okay, what is this? Whose is this? Because a lot of times things are coming at me and I think they're mine, and they're just the enemy trying to get us to grab these lies, put them in our pockets, and then walk out with them.
Yep.
Adam and Eve in the garden.
Yep.
What happens? The serpent comes in the garden. He throws thoughts at them. He throws the lies at them. They were not their lies. They were not their truths to believe. They became their truths when they grabbed them, they put them in their pockets, and they walked out with them. He didn't make them believe them. He didn't make them do the thing. But the lies came at them, but it was their job to go, hold on, I have authority over anything that comes in here. That's what he tells me in Genesis 1:26.
Yep. Told
them that, but they didn't realize that. And so they grabbed the lie. Maybe something on the outside can complete the inside of me. Maybe I'm not like God, like the serpent just said.
Yeah.
You'll be like God if you eat of this apple. No, Jesus already said, you're made in my likeness and my image. God said to them. They were already everything. But the lie is, I need something on the outside to complete me.
Yeah.
And that's where we get into the problem.
Yep. Yep. I love how you articulated the fact that if it can be taken from you, that is not where your identity lies. Because we live in a generation where what we do oftentimes tell us who we are, and that is the issue. It reminded me when you were talking about this of a strength coach that I used to work for. Learned a lot from this man, God-fearing man, really, really good at what he did, super, super humble. And I'll never forget, out of all the things that he taught me about strength and conditioning and programming and periodization and all the things that you needed to be able to know in order to build an elite athlete, the thing that I took away from him was we were sitting at a meeting, and we thinking we're about to go through programming and exercise selection and all this stuff, and he looks at us, and we're interns at the time, and he's like be careful holding on to titles. And he said, right now, I am the head strength and conditioning coach for the University of Kentucky football team. That is my title. Be careful grabbing onto those titles, because in this business, and he was talking about the strength and conditioning world, it is very, very common for one of your assistants to get a job somewhere down the line, all of a sudden they're the head guy and you find yourself needing a job and you find yourself actually working for them. So the point that he was trying to make was like, and it was all around how you treat people matters, right? You got some guys that are in positions of power and they treat people, subordinates, whatever, pretty terribly, right? He's like, you in this business, that's the fastest way to never have a job or have job security. Because when you treat interns, GAs, assistants poorly, and let's say you're at a school who doesn't win and everybody gets fired, there's a changing of the guard and you're in need of a position, now your name goes out into the community and no one wants to touch you with a 10-foot pole. That guy was a terrible boss, terrible person. There's no way we're bringing him into this program. And it just, that story just brought up for me like the entire issue at hand here, where a lot of the guys that I'm working with, like titles matter to us as men because it falsely validates things in us to tell us who we are, because there's something in our past that was not validated when we were younger. Mm-hmm. There's something there that there's this void that we're trying to fill. And when we get the job, we get the promotion, we build the business, we make all the money, it makes us feel good. It makes us feel like providers. It makes us feel like we're in control of our destiny and the world views us a certain way. Mm-hmm. But be careful, like this coach told me, be careful holding on to something that can be taken away from you. Mm-hmm. And I loved how you, excuse me, I love how you hit, like, yo, if it can be taken away from you, that is not who you are. And if that is where you are living from, you're going to find yourself in a world of disappointment. And you're going to find yourself in this self-promotion, in this self-preservation mode, fighting tooth and nail to prove to yourself and to the world, no, I am that thing. Yeah. I lost that thing. Now I'm doing everything in my power to go and get it back.
Yeah, dude. And that is totally, when we live in a place where we're not already approved and already enough and already know who we are, we tend to use things and people to prove that thing to us.
Yeah.
And so we just start using people. Like, I need you to validate me. I need this thing to validate me. Mm-hmm. I need this car to validate me. I need this whatever. And it's like, that is where we find ourselves. And it's never ending. It's never ending.
Yeah.
And it's just detrimental, not just to your own mental health,
yeah,
but also to the people around you.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's do this. Like, how would you, someone's listening to this, it's like, man, like I resonate with that. Like, I don't think I know who I am outside of what I do, what I've achieved, what I've accomplished, what the world has told me I am. Like, how do I find out who I am?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think you have to get to the end of the carrot on a stick, because God will not yell over your activity or your performance. And so until you're ready, that's why Jesus was so good at asking questions to everyone he came across, whether it be the paralytic man in Mark chapter 5, where he'd been there for 38 years. The moment that he says, do you want to get well, is a question that sounds so insensitive to, like, yeah, bro, I think you know the answer to that one. That's an open book, yeah, right? Like, but it was the whole thing of like, I am not going to try to violate you if it's not something you want. Mm-hmm. And so for you, God is patient. He will wait, because he's a man that he is a gentleman. He will not try to override what you desire for what he desires, because he knows that wouldn't be love.
That's right.
And so if you're at the point where you are at a space where you're going, what I'm doing did work, it's now not working, or my whole life has never worked. Like, if you were honest, if it was just you and me sitting at a table together with no one else around, not having to perform, if you're at a place that you're finally like, hey, I know, it's like the infomercials, like the ones with like the Mighty Putty. You've seen the Mighty Putty, yep, where it's like, yeah, if you just slap that on your faucet that's leaking, it'll stop leaking, and everyone's going, yeah, and you buy it and you're like, yeah, I buy into that, and you use it and it doesn't work.
Right.
You know if the infomercial's hype or it's actually hope. Like
Right.
it really works.
Right.
And that's the same thing with Jesus. Is it's like people outside of Jesus, I mean, they can promise you all these things and all this stuff but at the end of the day, you know if what you are using is working. And if it's falling apart and it's not working and you don't have peace, you need to go search out for peace, because peace is the only thing that cannot be duplicated. It's the only thing that Jesus gives that nothing else can give you. But you have to get to the end of yourself thinking that I can somehow climb this heavenly ladder to get to God, to be good enough for God. When you have to come to the end of yourself, that to truly live this life and find identity, it doesn't come with more doing, it actually comes with more surrendering.
Letting go.
That's the answer.
Yes.
So you have to get to the end of yourself, get to the end of everything that you're trying to defend that isn't working, and you just have to say, it's not working. I surrender to the one that created all of this stuff, and he knows how it works. Right? It's like Steve Jobs, if when he was alive, if I was to take the phone that I have and go, you know what, I know what Steve Jobs made this for, but you know what, today it's 2026, I'm using this as a hammer. I can use this as a hammer.
Yeah.
But I'm going to mess up the one who designed it and what it's meant for.
That's right.
And we have to get to the end of ourselves and go, you know what? Someone designed this for something. Someone designed my life for something. Someone designed your life for something. And it wasn't to be worshipped. It was to worship.
That's right.
And when you get that stuff in line, you just will work right.
Yeah.
When I use this phone for the way that it's meant to be worked because of the one who designed it, everything goes well.
That's right.
But when I do things out of order or do it my own way, I finally get to the end of myself and go, I've made a mess of this. And guess what? It wasn't Steve Jobs' fault.
No.
When I break that phone because I use it as a hammer, it's not Steve Jobs' fault.
That's right.
It's mine.
That's right.
And when I can take responsibility, personal responsibility for my actions, saying, God, I made these decisions, didn't even ask you, but asked you to bless them, and I'm mad at you for not blessing them. And God's going, I can only bless what I'm in.
That's right.
That's what I'm in.
That's right.
And so I think for us, we just have to get to the end of ourselves, more surrender, less doing. And as you surrender, you will actually find your life. The scripture tells us that, right? You know, and so I think that's the answer. That's been the answer for my life.
Yeah.
It comes in more surrender. And it's not even a one-time thing. It's surrender in every season. What are you doing? What do you want me to know? What do you want me to do? Like our boy Jamie Wynn should be saying all the time.
Shout out to Jamie, man.
Right?
Love you, bro. Yeah, man, that's so good. It's because, man, we got the equation wrong. We talked about this off camera. Like we're operating from our activity leads to an outcome, and that outcome leads to our identity. That is how most of us are walking around here living life.
Right.
Like if I can do the thing, like it will validate me. If I can be the thing, like I will no longer feel unworthy. I won't feel shame because I am building the thing. I'm now the CEO. I now have the music career. I got the publishing deal. Like whatever the case may be, like now it's backwards. And that's why I feel like we got so many people out here operating out of a false identity, and they're wondering why things are not working. Or like you said, and what I would articulate that to be is like, your gifts are your gifts. Like what God gave you, he's never going to take away from you. But what happened to me is gifts that worked for a long time, all of a sudden stopped working. And I believe God did that to get my attention. Because as soon as anything starts getting shaky, what you're trying to do is rely on that gift instead of relying on the dependency of God. And so really our being, our identity should fuel our doing. And so we got people running around here that are feeling stressed, that are feeling burnt out. They can't figure out why. And a lot of it, I believe, has to do with you don't know who you are. And in turn, you are doing things and operating out of a space that you should not be in because that's not who God designed you to be.
Asking God to bless it.
Asking God to bless it.
God bless this thing that I'm doing right now. And God's like, I can't. I'm not.
That's
in
not who I designed you to be.
Right.
Like I formed you in your mother's womb, and that's not the plan that I had for you.
Right.
Like I know the plans that I have for you, and it's to prosper you.
Right.
But you never asked me what those plans were. You didn't partner with me on the plan that I have for your life. And so now you're white knuckling your way through this life trying to ask me to bless you with something that I never intended to have for you. And it's actually going to hurt you instead of help you. And now you can't be effective for me. And I can't use you to edify those around you because that's what our gifts are meant to do. It's meant to serve other people, lift other people up. And so if what you're doing is not doing that, you're operating out of a false identity and it's causing you to be in a situation that you should never be in and it was never intended for you. And I love what you said because I agree 100%. Like God's not going to force you out of that. And so what happened to me is I'm wasting like years. I'm wasting years of my life chasing the wrong thing because I did not know who I was. I had talents, I had gifts. I leaned into them. It got me into places. It got me into rooms. It got me meetings with people I had no business getting meetings with, and it worked because it is a gift. But also, unbeliever, everyone has gifts that they operate out of. The intention behind your gift and how you're using it matters. And so don't be surprised if you're hitting this roadblock. Like you just like can't figure out like, yo, why is this not working? Well, you might be in a seat that you never should have been in.
It makes me think of like the donkey. Who's donkey?
You talking about Shrek? We just had Shrek on.
I'm making waffles.
We just had Shrek on last week.
Yeah. You a dad.
Yeah, I'm a dad, man. That's what we watch at
Oh,
the
you're talking
house.
about Shrek. Oh, I love Shrek.
Shrek, bro.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing. No, no, in the Bible.
You talking about the Bible, my bad, y'all.
Yeah.
We're talking about holy things, not Pixar or Disney.
What I can't think of the name of the donkey and I want to say Neiman, but it's not Neiman. It's I can't remember. What's going on here?
What is that? Oh, Ladybug.
I can't even remember who it was, but the donkey that sat down and couldn't see the angel.
Oh yeah.
And he starts beating the donkey. He's like beating the donkey, and eventually God's like,
"Yeah,
you're fighting against me."
Yeah. Yes, I forget. I know
like
what you're
that.
talking about. I forget
That's like when people say I hit a wall.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of times what's happening.
Yeah.
Is like you can't see that you're fully operating and trying to move into something that God's protecting you of.
Mm-hmm.
And you can still go.
Yeah.
You can still go. But be careful when you come up against something and not just think, well, I need to bust this down.
Yep.
Because sometimes you might.
Yeah.
But that's where you have to get the okay before moving forward. And so I think that's a massive realization, I think, for all of us of sometimes we want to fit what we want into that narrative. And then, like you said, like earlier, like you're just putting Jesus on it.
Yeah.
People, Jesus glitter, whatever, like throw it on there and make it seem good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just praying about it. Oh yeah, God's blessing us, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. You say all those things, but if you're lacking peace.
100%.
If you're lacking peace.
100%. I think the powerful thing about peace is like you can find yourself in the midst of a storm, have peace when the world is chaotic, and know that everything's going to be good. Mm-hmm. It's going to be all right. Mm-hmm. But if you can't find that peace, I think that's a massive sign that you may be walking in a direction that you're not supposed to be in. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not saying that there aren't stressful situations. I'm not saying that you'll never feel anxious about stuff. Like, that's part of the human experience, right? Like, we feel those things. But even going back to when you were talking about fear, I was telling the guys the other night, it's like, yo, like sometimes you gotta like behave your way into the belief. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, I know that God has something on my life. I know that like the 2.0 version of Joel is right there, is over there somewhere. And God's not gonna allow me to come into this new thing with old baggage. So now I gotta, like, even though I'm scared, even though I'm stressed, even though I'm anxious, like, I gotta behave my way into the belief that I am actually walking in what God is asking me to walk into. And so, like, God never says that anything is really wrong with fear. He says, do not be afraid a bunch of times in scripture. But he knows, he's saying that as many times as he is, because he knows we're gonna feel fear.
Yeah.
But it's not about removing the fear and then I can step into what he's asking me to do. It is doing it in spite of. Like, how do you get so you were telling me the story about the cliff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you didn't finish the story, but I imagine like you ended up finally jumping in, but I don't know if your fear changed at all.
Right. No, the thing that got me was that someone went before me. I saw someone else do it, so I knew I could.
You knew it could be done.
So in that, for some people, they're like, well, I've never seen anyone else do it. I never had a father show me that. I never had whatever show me that. I never had anyone else tell me what you're telling me right now. So how do I do this?
Yeah.
And that's where God's like, I went ahead of you. I've gone before you.
Yep.
You do have someone that's gone before you.
Yep.
You do have someone that knows the end before the beginning. When you're stepping into your future, that was his past because he saw it from reverse.
That's right.
He's already gone before you.
That's right. It's done.
And even like we think about Moses and how he says like God says, I am. He never said, Moses, you are. He's saying, I am. It's like my son, there was one time we were eating dinner and my son, he starts flinging his fingers.
Yeah.
He had stuff on his fingers. I told you this before.
Yeah.
He's flinging his fingers.
You're like, why is he doing that?
Why is he doing that? And Ashley's like,
you do that.
You do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
have this thing with like things in my hands. I'm like, like
you
get
don't
it
like
off
it.
my hands,
Yeah.
like whatever it is. And my son's taking his cues from me.
More is caught than
That's
taught.
it, right?
Yeah.
And so like that's our job. Like I remember one time there was a person that walked up and they were being really intense, and my son is watching me to see how he's supposed to respond.
Yeah.
That's our job.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel fear right now. What's my dad doing? Oh, my dad's seated on the throne. He's not up pacing the throne.
No.
He's seated.
Yeah.
He knows what's going on. Okay, God, I trust you that you're not freaking out in this moment. You're not knowing, you didn't see this coming.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Right.
Okay, what do you want me to know? What do you want me to do?
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Jesus in the boat. You're talking about fear.
Yeah.
Jesus in the boat. He didn't jump up and get in their hysteria
No.
and go, we're drowned and we're going to die.
Yeah.
He looked at it and went, he was still sleeping for a while.
Yeah.
And then eventually just got up and goes, all right, calm.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, my wife has that. She's got that just chill, man. Just like, she just chill. She's consistent.
That's right.
I know your wife's consistent.
That's right, man.
I know our wives are cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
They can sleep. They can sleep.
Bro, they can sleep.
They can sleep
it don't
in
matter
that
what's
boat,
going on,
boy.
bro. Bree be knocked out, and
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like, yo, we gotta. Yeah,
She's
bro.
like, it's gonna be fine.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
It always is.
Yeah. And that's where we got to get.
Yes.
Not that it's not crazy. We're not going, oh, I ain't gonna say this is going on. I'm gonna ignore that this isn't here.
No.
that can be here.
That's right.
But he built a table in the presence of my enemies, and so I'm gonna eat while they watch.
That's right.
I'm gonna eat while they watch.
Yeah.
What does it look like to sit at a table and eat? Relax.
That's right.
Recline. Sit. This is still present, but God has made a table in the presence of this.
Yes.
So I'm gonna focus on what's here at this table, not what's going on here.
Yeah.
Now you tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Now you tell me. It's like when you're with your kids. Hey, once you calm down. Like there's moments when my kids will rear up in my good days, on the days where I try to take control. We're talking about the highlights here.
Yeah, the highlights.
I'm a
we don't make no
on this
mistakes as
podcast
fathers.
right here, boy. Everything I do good.
Yeah, we
man.
don't
I'm a
make no
good
mistakes,
dad.
bro.
But in those moments, I lean back. I say, hey, I have some things to say about that when you're ready to listen.
Yeah, that's good.
That's what God does. He just leans back. He doesn't leave you nor forsake you. He just doesn't jump into your activity.
That's right.
Because he's not riled up. He just goes, I got something to say when you're ready.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Yeah. That's good.
And then okay, God, I'm ready to listen. That's the surrender piece.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, God, I'm ready to listen. Whatever it is, I need to hear it. I'm done with my yelling and screaming on aisle 4, wanting that thing at Walmart,
Yep,
right, as a
yeah,
kid.
yeah,
Tell me what I can't see. I know that you have the best things in mind for me, and I'm done doing it my way.
yeah.
You know how all of this thing works.
That's right.
Can you help me with this Lego set? Oh, 3 steps before this, I missed that piece and just tried to do my own thing. That's why step 4 doesn't work. Oh, can you help me with that, Dad? Do it all the time with my kids and Legos. And that's what God needs. Or you can go, oh, you got it? Okay, cool. I'm here if you need me.
That's right.
That's how God treats it.
Yeah.
And that's where we got to get, is to a place of surrender.
Yep. That's so good, man.
Yeah.
That's so good. I think it also it will help us to really understand the character of God as well. Because I know, like, growing up, man, like, grew up like feeling like God was just like fire and brimstone, Old Testament, and he never changes, right? Like, that is part of his nature. But it was more so around the lie, around like, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, he's mad. If I don't follow the thing that he told me to do, he's mad. And it was just this like pressure to always perform my way into his graces. Like, if I read enough scripture, if I go to church, if I go to the Bible study, if I talk about God and I share about my faith, then I'm good with him. And we completely miss that when he created us, he called us good. Like, you are enough. Already. There is nothing else that you need to do. I hope somebody's hearing me when I'm saying this. There is nothing else that God is waiting for you to do in order for him to validate who you are. You've already been validated. The difficult part about this is actually receiving the things that God says about us. That's hard to do. Much easier to believe the lie, because the lie comes from, and I learned this from like Jamie and like Taylor Welch, like, you know, we got getting a little bit nerdy here with neuroscience, but it's really fascinating. The left side of our brain is the logic side. And they were teaching about how, like, that's where the enemy wants us, is logic, right? Imagine a situation comes up. The first thing that comes to our mind is how something, all the ways it won't work. We were talking about this. Like, I'm talking about, like, man, it would be dope to put on an event, and the first 3 things that come to my mind is why the thing can't work.
Right.
Initial first thing, not how it can work, why it can't. And so the enemy wants us to live in logic. Left side. The right side is where ideation and creation lives. It's where the things that are like, man, how can this actually work, live? This is where God can actually blow our minds. Miracle signs and wonders come from that side of it. And it's so, like, that doesn't mean that, to your point, bills ain't due and you don't have things to like actually do as a human. Like, no, you have those things, but we don't operate from that side. We don't make decisions based on what the left side of the brain are telling us. If we start to feel those things, this is where we actually have to surrender it to the Lord and say, hey, God, I'm feeling scared here. Why am I scared? Like, what does this mean that I believe about you in this moment? Like, what do I need to do? Like, I don't want to make decisions out of fear. Like, I want to make faith-based decisions. Even if I feel afraid, like, I want to make decisions that you want me to make, because you ultimately get the glory when I'm stepping into the things that you already have for me. Because then I can boast about not what I did, but what you did through me. And the only way we get there is by making decisions based out of where God wants us to. And that is truth. What did God say? And like you say, what does he want us to do? And what does he want us to know? Like, we need to do that.
Yeah.
And so I think once we can get there, and I'm slowly but surely, I feel like I'm like this like massive cruise ship that is like trying to go this way, but you know, it takes a cruise ship like 5 years to turn anywhere. Like, I'm slowly but surely like moving off course of back on course to where I need to be. from where I was heading in the wrong direction because I was trying to do everything out of my own strength. And I can't even tell you the amount of times I've made fear-based decisions, especially like as a husband, as a father. Like we get into this like self-protection mode. We get into protect the downside mode. And like some of that stuff is okay to an extent, but it's like, I don't want to make decisions like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Totally.
I'm trying to make decisions based out truth and faith.
Yeah.
And it's like, Lord, if I believe you're with me here in this boat, you're with me in the boat, what do we do?
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, I even think like the left brain, right brain thing that you're talking about too is like, that's why a lot of these things aren't helpful in the sense of like when people run down the road of like Darwinism or all these other things of trying to explain how this world exists, the Big Bang, all the things, you get to a point where you still feel like there's something more than just the knowledge that you've gained. That's why in the scripture it says you diligently study the scriptures thinking you'll find life from them, but you don't choose to come to me to have life. Coming to me to have life is not left brain. Now, there's a point where, yes, you need to get your understanding and all the things there, but there's still at the end of this thing a leap of faith that takes the right brain to make that decision.
Yeah, 100%.
And then also to build a relationship, you have to live in the right brain. So all your life, it's what I'm doing, what I'm not doing, what I should be doing. That's all left brain. I can read a biography about Michael Jordan, but I don't know Michael Jordan.
That's right.
If I came into this room and said, "Oh, bro, I know Michael Jordan," you go, "How do you know?" I read a biography. You'd be like, "Bro, you don't shut up, dude. You don't know him.
Bro, you don't know him.
You don't know him." But that's what we do. Like we're trying to study him, and the right brain is relational.
That's right.
The true worshiper worships me in spirit and truth.
Truth, yep.
So you have truth. Yes, you need truth. It can't just be this flippant thing. But at some point, the spirit, the relational side of what God wants to be, that you've always desired him to be, that's when everything changes.
Yeah.
So when you start working through healing, when you start working, what you're doing is you're going from left brain, I understand this, to right brain, I actually know this to be true because I've experienced him in this way.
Yeah, that's good.
That's only how love works. You only experience the love of God in your right brain. Your left brain can't comprehend.
Yeah, we ain't never seen him.
No. So it's like that's the neural pathways that are beginning to be built.
That's right.
And what I even talked about earlier, when you're 10 and this thing gets stuck back here, you get stuck in your left brain. And until you make that jump from left brain to right brain and God heals it, that's when you're experiencing the tears. That's when you're experiencing the love. That's when you're experiencing the emotion of God. And all of a sudden, he's created a new neural pathway that's never been there before. And that's when that 10-year-old becomes the age that you are.
That's right.
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
Yeah, and that science is just catching up with that.
That's right.
That when it says to us that the renewal of the mind, be ye transformed by the renewing of the mind, we didn't even know till the 80s that the mind could be renewed at any time. We thought at like 20-something, your brain was stuck where it is with the brokenness that it walked through, with the things that have happened, had no idea that there was neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
And so when that happened, then all of a sudden Scripture comes to life that's been saying it the whole time, and it catches up with Scripture.
Yeah.
We can renew at any point.
That's right.
You're not broken. You're not messed up. You're not past the point of no return. Like there's always a moment for you to turn, pivot, surrender, and now become who he's intended you to become your entire life.
That's right.
Whatever you built.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, however broken you may be. And that's the good news of when it starts for all of us, is through surrender.
Bro, fire.
Yeah, dude. So good. So good. Love it.
I have nothing else to say. You ended up beautifully.
Well, we're out.
See y'all.